What's up, guys? Today's podcast is all about how to grow, but first of all, find your shorts audience. So let me teach you exactly how in the first 4 months of 2024, I've been lucky enough to get over 3 million shorts views. Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first official episode of the CreatorCast podcast, episode 2. Technically episode 1 though. Episode 1 was an introductory episode where I kind of went over what was going to be covered on these episodes and a little bit about me. So if you want to watch that before you watch this one, I can link it up here. I think this is the right corner. As you can probably tell from the title and thumbnail, this one's going to be all about how to grow your shorts audience. And as I said in the intro, I've been lucky enough this year so far in 2024 to get, I believe, 3.1 million views overall. 2.9 million of those were from shorts. So I like to think I know a thing or two about how to grow a shorts audience. So that's what we're going to be going over today. I got my notes over here, by the way, just so I don't get too off track. But what we're going to be going over is, first of all, figuring out what to make for your shorts content, and then how to make it engaging, and how do you upload it properly to the platform to optimize it best for the algorithm. And then lastly, how do you analyze it after it's been uploaded and after it's gotten its views? How do you analyze it to know how to course correct your future shorts? So like I said, first of all, we're going to be talking about what do you make? It's kind of choosing your niche, kind of figuring out, what you're going to be pursuing in terms of content, because especially when you're starting out, you're going to want to experiment a lot. I think that's a huge thing. Me personally, for those that don't know, by the way, I make Valorant content, and I think at the core of my content, it's really, I always try to tie it back to just being like a relatable piece of content for the average Valorant player. That's what I try to weave all my content, or that's what I try to weave into all of my content. Basically, my content, if you really dwindle it down, I think that's the right word. I hope I used that correctly. If you really dwindle it down, it's basically just a clip that I get when I'm playing with my friends, and then I try to be creative with the hook and the title of the short to make it something that somebody who has no idea who I am can watch and still enjoy and maybe even relate to. That's kind of what I try to do with my long form and my short form content. But yeah, experiment. I started making Valorant shorts, but they were slightly different than how they are now. But through experimentation, I ended up getting to where my content is now, and you can go to my channel and see the kind of content I've been making now. But my first, 10 shorts were completely different than the way I make my shorts now, or the way I have been making them for like the past 3 or so months. Also, just take notes from creators that you enjoy watching, because more likely than not, if you enjoy watching a certain type of content, you're going to enjoy making that type of content. And that's just going to be the best for you in longevity, because you don't want to force yourself to make something you don't enjoy, because that's not sustainable. So everything, always keep in mind, in the back of your mind at least, is this sustainable whenever you pursue a long form or short form type of content, or just anything relating to being a creator. Like, don't do something if you don't think there's longevity in it. I was just thinking that'd be really ironic if I was saying that and then like I only ever upload 4 podcasts on this channel. But I'm gonna really try to stick through with this and see how this goes. This is still something I'm really getting used to. I'm trying to not talk too fast, because that's just something I'm used to doing in YouTube videos. But this is a podcast. We're just chilling and learning. Also, how you guys doing? I hope you all are having a good day so far. I forget this is a podcast and this isn't a YouTube video. I could just chill for a minute, but not for too long, because I don't want to waste y'all's time. But so yeah, how do you figure out what you want to make? You choose your niche. Take notes from people you enjoy watching. Experiment. That's a huge point. And then the last thing, I want to talk about a little bit of a misconception that I see a lot when people are, trying to figure out what niche they want to make their content in. Because I have a lot of friends that enjoy playing Fortnite, and they enjoy playing Call of Duty and Apex and Valorant, and they don't know which one to pursue, or they just don't pursue any of them in particular. But Another mistake I see people make is they will upload, I'm just going to use Valorant because that's the content I make and that's just like what I'm most familiar with. So I'll see people upload a Valorant funny moments clip as a short, and then next they'll upload a little montage of a couple of their best recent clips. Like, even though those are both pieces of Valorant content, they're two completely different niches within Valorant. I forget the exact term for it, but within every niche, there's like a micro or multiple micro niches within that niche. So, you know, it would honestly make more sense if you were to upload a Call of Duty funny moment and a Fortnite funny moment than a Call of Duty funny moments and then a Call of Duty class setup video, because the funny moments are more closely related. Even though they're different games, it's still, you know, the same type of content. At least that's how I imagine it. I've never actually tested it on a channel where I've uploaded that type of content, but I still wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd recommend sticking within one game, but that's besides the point. But that's pretty much everything that I got on choosing how or what content to make. Now let's move on to how do you make it. So this is going to take up the bulk of the podcast, most likely. I have a list of do's and don'ts on making shorts. And first of all, I want to talk about, think about who you're making your content for. And this applies to short form and long form content and even streams, honestly. Like, think about who you're streaming to, but in terms of short form content, think about who you're making this content for, because it's really hard to make content for an audience if you have no idea who you're making it for exactly. So before you make any content, try to create like an avatar in your head of one person that represents an audience that you're trying to reach, and make content for that person. Because if you actually have somebody in mind who you're making it for, it makes it a lot easier to make the content, and it makes it a lot easier to make decisions about that content while you're making it, because you know exactly who you're making it for. Like, this is something I see a lot of people struggle with, is they're making a piece of content for, I'm going to use Valorant again. I'm probably just going to use Valorant this whole time as an example, but I see somebody making a piece of content for, you know, Valorant or on Valorant, and the audience for that, the target audience, are people that play Valorant. So they don't need to go in depth explaining things that the average Valorant player already knows. They get caught up in explaining it, so somebody that plays, I don't know, XCOM 2 could understand this short. But realistically, like, even though that's great that you're making it understandable for that person, realistically, that person probably isn't even going to be getting recommended your piece of content because they just don't play Valorant. So this is why you need to keep in mind who you're making it for. So that way, you know, oh, I don't need to explain this, because if somebody is even getting recommended the short, they probably understand this. So that was a side note that I wanted to touch on. But now let's finally get into the important do's and don'ts of making engaging shorts. So on the do's, probably the most important thing is creating an intriguing hook. And this is going to take a lot of trial and error of learning how to make these interesting hooks. I'm still learning. I'm not a master of this. Sometimes I still make a hook that people don't care about, but I've done it enough times. I've gotten enough reps in to where I have a few different hooks that have worked on previous shorts that I can like tweak a little bit to work for another piece of content. So it's just something that you'll learn, but basically in your hooks, you want to present something to the viewer that, I mean, it's in the name, it's going to hook them and make them want to keep watching your short, whether that be presenting a goal that you're going to complete in the short, or hinting at something that they're going to want to see later in the short. I know those are very vague examples, but hopefully that makes sense. Once you write a hook, think about or imagine that this short with this hook is popping up on your For You page. Would it actually interest you enough to keep you watching, or would you just swipe away? And if the answer is you would just swipe away, you need to rewrite it. And you probably, like when you're first starting out, you need to rewrite the same hook multiple times and then narrow it down from there. Like, what is the most interesting way that I could write this? Ask yourself, could you shorten this and it still, communicate everything that it needs to communicate? Ask yourself if you could rewrite it with more like powerful, interesting dialogue. What's the phrase? Like, proofread your hooks over and over and over again. And over time, you'll get better. It's something that you will just get accustomed to. And this next part kind of ties into the hook a little bit. If you have a goal in your short, you obviously want to present that in the hook. And I'll get into the analytical side of it later. But if you have a goal in your short and you complete that goal, you want to end the short right then and there. You don't want it to drag out any farther, because people are ruthless on YouTube Shorts, especially if they're watching a short from somebody they've never heard of before. It's the very first time they're seeing your face. Like, once the goal is achieved, or once they get what they came for in the short, they're going to swipe away. They're just unforgiving in that. So once you've completed the thing, or once it's hit the climax of the clip, you want to end it right then and there. And like I said, I'll get into the analytical side of that a little bit later. And then after that, a couple other do's. That sounded like Irish or something when I said that. A couple other do's are sound effects, visuals, and subtitles. These are all super important, especially with short form content. Sound effects are a great way to emphasize certain points of voiceover, like especially if you are, especially in your hooks. It's a great way to just emphasize little points, or like even something as simple as like a ding sound effect, that classic ding sound effect. You know what I'm talking about if you've watched YouTube before. Little things like that, little visuals like GIFs or just pictures of anything that you're talking about popping up with subtitles is a great way to keep people engaged. And it's something I've started to implement into my shorts more recently, and I've definitely seen the positive effects of that. And then lastly, subtitles, which I don't think I've seen a short in the past month at least that didn't have subtitles. It's an interesting thing. I feel like on TikTok, there's a lot of TikToks that just don't have subtitles, but on YouTube Shorts, for some reason, pretty much all of them have subtitles. But anyways, so let me go over the way that I do subtitles in my shorts, and another way that I've seen be successful for other creators that I've started to do here and there. But first of all, the first one is basically, let me show you an example. So let's just pretend this is a short, okay? The subtitles, how I do them in my shorts is every single time I say a word, a new subtitle pops up, just like that. But there's another way where some people will do it where every like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 words is a new subtitle. So it's not as quick. It's not as like in your face. And people typically will use that style of subtitles if something is happening on screen that the creator wants them to be focusing on more than the subtitles. And I've started to do this when there's something happening in a clip, pretty much like I just said. If it's like the most important part of the clip, I don't want 15 subtitles popping up really fast in the middle of that, because that's going to be really distracting from what I really want the viewer to be watching. So those are 2 ways to do subtitles. Also, if you noticed when I did that little representation of the shorts, the placement of your subtitles is also super, super important. You want them to kind of be wherever the viewer is already looking. So probably if I was in a short right now, the best place that you want your subtitles to be is either right below me or right above my head, because if I'm speaking and that's all that's on screen, the viewer's probably going to be looking at my face. So you don't want them to be looking at me speaking and then have to look all the way up here to read the subtitles, or look all the way down here to read the subtitles. Because another reason why you want to be very particular about the placement of your subtitles is because the UI, which is the user interface on the shorts feed, a lot of the times it's my pet peeve when I see this happen, is a lot of creators that I'm friends with will upload shorts and it looks good when they post it on Twitter, But when you actually go to TikTok or YouTube Shorts, wherever they uploaded it, the UI, and by that, if you don't know what I mean, is, let me actually just pull up a picture of it real quick. YouTube Shorts UI overlay. Okay, so we'll use this image right here. Basically, I see a lot of people make the mistake of putting subtitles that are too long, and then they extend all the way over here and they get covered by these icons on the right, or they'll have their subtitles way too low. Typically, I feel like this part is actually higher up and takes up a little bit more space. So this might not be the most accurate one to use because it looks like a shorter phone screen. Yeah, you want to find a good one of these. I have one. I could link it in the description or something if you guys want. All right, this is a much better one. I think I made this myself. This is, yeah, this is a lot better because it's skinnier, so it's definitely correct. So I created this one myself, and I'll overlay it on my shorts, or I used to. I don't really need to anymore because it's like second nature now. Like I know when something's going to be covered. But if you're not too sure, get something like this. If you want, I can send it to you guys. I could also put a link in the comments or the description if you guys really, really want it. I could put it on like a Google Drive or something for you guys to download. But something as simple as this, just to make sure if you place subtitles down here, they're not going to be getting covered up by all this. That is super important because that's a mistake that I see a lot of people make. That's very easily fixable. So it pains me when I see my friends make that mistake. Okay, so that's all the do's and a little bit of the don'ts of how you make shorts. Lastly, in the how you should make it don'ts of this section, I kind of already hinted at it, but do not drag your video out. I actually forgot to mention this. So let me try, how do I explain this the best way? Marcus Jones, who is a YouTuber who used to be called Grow Your Gaming Channel, he uploaded a video, I think it was titled, I Studied 5,400 YouTube Shorts, something like that, and is basically proven that shorts, longer shorts, have a higher view ceiling than shorter shorts. And by that, I mean a short anywhere from like 45 to 60 seconds long has much higher potential to hit 1 million views than a short that is like 30 seconds or less. It's going to be much harder for this shorter short to get 1 million views. And that I think is simply because all YouTube wants to do is keep people on their platform, which is why average view duration and average percentage viewed is such an important statistic on all content, long form and short form. It's so important because YouTube just wants to keep people on their platform so they can make more money on ads and they can, you know, what's the word? Charge people more, or charge like the companies more for ads. I don't know how it works. I don't work at Google, but basically they want to keep people on the platform. So that is why, I forgot what I was saying for a second. So that is why longer shorts have higher potential for views. And you can see this when you go to my channel. My best performing short ever is, I think, 50 seconds long. And it is right now sitting at 1.1 million views. Let me actually go to it. I'll show you guys. I'll give you guys the insight. I'll show you all of my analytics. So this is my best performing short ever. It is 50 seconds long. And if you go here, average view duration is 47 seconds, so nearly 100%. And this is the second statistic that I'll go over in just a minute. Also very good. So I forgot what I was showing in this. Oh, this is what I was showing. So these are my best performing shorts ever. This one, 1.1 million views. This one, just over 500,000. And this one, just over 500,000. And I've got a couple others over 100,000. So the important thing to look at here is this one is 50 seconds long. This one is, I think, exactly 60 seconds long. This one was so difficult to get under 60 seconds because I posted this exact same thing, but it was a minute and like 23 seconds, if I remember correctly. I posted that version on TikTok, and it took me so long to figure out how to get this under 60 seconds, but it was worth it because I got 500,000 views. And then this one is 33 seconds, I believe. And it's got just as great of statistics. However, it is a shorter short. So I feel like if I uploaded the same short and I was able to keep it engaging for 60 seconds, it could have more views than this, maybe even more views than this. But since it is a shorter short, it's not as like YouTube isn't going to want to push it as much as a highly engaging 60-second short. I hope that made sense. I feel like I was just yapping for a second there, but hopefully you guys got a little something out of that. And let me see. One more thing about don'ts is a call to action. So this might be a little controversial, but my advice would be to not. Did y'all hear my wrist crack when I just like moved it? I don't know. Sorry, I got sidetracked. My advice would be to not use call to actions in your shorts. There's a few ways you can do it. I'll talk about that in just a second, but basically, especially if you're putting call to actions at the end of your shorts, like I said before, new viewers, even returning viewers, are like ruthless. They will swipe away as the second they feel like the value or the entertainment is done in the short. Like they're not going to wait for you to say blah 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 blah, subscribe for more. They're going to swipe away, and that's going to hurt your retention. And as I said before, retention is so important. So I would advise against using call to actions in your shorts. However, there's one instance that I know that I'm sure it's been super effective. There's this creator named Lovely Low, and she makes, I guess you would call them voice chat funny moments shorts on Call of Duty. And the way she does her call to action is, say, for example, she's got like a 60-second short, and maybe 30 seconds into the short, she has this little graphic of, well, first of all, the content is still going on. Like she's not interrupting the content to do this call to action. But while the content is still going on, she has this graphic of a bear that will walk in screen holding a sign that says subscribe, and then it'll be there for a few seconds, and then it'll walk out. I might want to experiment with something like that myself, but as of right now, I can't tell you how effective that is or if it does affect the retention. But her shorts have performed really well, so I'm sure it's beneficial. But that is one of the few ways that I've seen call to actions be beneficial in a short and not be detrimental to the average view duration, or the average percentage viewed, I think is what it's called on shorts, but same thing. Okay, I think I've finally talked about everything and how to make your shorts. If you guys got any more questions, feel free to drop them down below. I will try to answer everything as in-depth as I can. But now let's talk about a step that people kind of forget about or look over, is how do you upload it? So in this section, I'm going to be talking about the title, the tags, and the thumbnail of your short, which is another thing that I feel like people overlook a lot. But most importantly, the title. So with your shorts, I'd say the title, it's not as important as the hook, because the content itself is what's going to really hook the viewer. But if you have a good title, that's going to be, I want to say, just as effective as a good hook. Because, I mean, if you have a really good piece of content and then your caption is just spamming letters on the keyboard, like it's not going to help it at all. But if you have a really intriguing caption, like my most, what's it called? My best performing short is called The Accidental Ace Paradox. And that was a really experimental title for me at the time, but now I've uploaded multiple shorts that have that format of title. The way you brainstorm your hooks, brainstorm your titles just as much. I have this program that I use, Milanote, to like write down all my scripts and everything for my videos. I write down multiple different title variations for my shorts, and I just kind of ask myself, like, would they respond to this? Would they respond to this? And I kind of narrow it down to what I think the best one would be. And that is super duper important. And also with the title, all of my YouTube shorts titles, as I've already shown you, if you noticed, they all have an emoji in them, but most of them, if not all of them, are a yellow emoji, because those kind of stick out the most. They kind of draw our eyes the most, which, adding an emoji in your title isn't going to give you an additional 100,000 views on your shorts, but I feel like it's a nice addition. And then also the hashtag shorts. I've always done this. I've heard from others that also have had successful shorts that you don't need to do it. But like I said, I've always done it and I've been able to be successful while doing it. So I don't see any reason to stop doing it. But that's how I format pretty much all my titles is title under 50 characters, preferably emoji, hashtag shorts. That's how I do all my titles pretty much. So the hashtag shorts in the title, that's separate from what I'm talking about when I say tags. When I say tags, I mean when you go, actually, I keep going back to full screen, but let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's see, we'll use this one for an example, how to counter ciphers ultimate. So when I say tags, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about when you scroll all the way down here and you got this tag section. So same with this hashtag up here. I've heard from other creators that you don't really need to bother with this, but I don't think it hurts. I mean, I definitely know it doesn't hurt. If anything, it's contributed to more views on my shorts. So for this piece of content, it is how to counter Cypher's ultimate. And if you don't know, Cypher is one of the Valorant agents and, you know, they all have an ultimate ability. So I thought it's really just a funny clip from me and my friends playing, but in it, I quote unquote countered the Cypher's ultimate. And I didn't actually, but I thought that would be a funny title for it, hence the smirk emoji. And as a result of that, I just added these tags that are basically how to counter Cypher ult, Valorant how to counter Cypher, and then I just added anything else that came up when I did Valorant how to counter blank, how to counter blank. Because if anybody types this into their search bar, mine will be ranked pretty high on the search list because I've added these into my tags. And if we go into my analytics, let's see, views, we can actually see how many views I've gotten from these tags. So from the shorts feed, I've gotten nearly 500,000 of these 528,000 views from the shorts feed, but I've gotten an additional nearly 13,000 views from YouTube search alone, and the average view duration has been the same on both. So I don't think it's detrimental to add in tags. It might take a little bit of extra work, but I think it's worth it personally. But like I said, depending on the type of content you make, if your content is more like funny moments, like people aren't going to be searching on YouTube to find these funny moments, most likely. At least that's what I would imagine. You're probably going to be getting the majority of your views from the shorts feed itself. So if you're doing that, I'd say don't really bother. But like I said, it doesn't hurt. And then lastly, the thumbnail. So if you've ever tried to upload a short on your desktop, you've probably noticed that you can't choose the thumbnail for the short like you can when you're uploading a TikTok or an Instagram reel. Well, if you transfer that file from your computer, if you transfer it to your phone and then you upload it to YouTube from your phone, then you can choose the thumbnail. Now, once again, this isn't going to translate to an extra 100,000 views, but I think it's beneficial because if somebody finds your channel through one of your long form videos or one of your shorts, and they go to your shorts feed and then you have like a nice thumbnail with your nice title that you've taken time to write out, I feel like it'll make people more likely to click on it, and it's not going to translate to hurting your short just because, you know, the view came from a different traffic source. It's just going to contribute to more views. So that's what I do whenever I finish a short on my computer. I'll use this website called send-anywhere.com, and I'll upload my short there, and then it'll just send it straight to my phone, and then I upload it to YouTube from my phone. And that's how I upload every single one of my shorts. So if you want to change the thumbnail on your shorts, you can't actually like design a custom thumbnail. It's basically like TikTok where you just choose a frame from the video. So if you want to have a really good thumbnail, keep it in mind when you're editing your short to choose which frame that is going to be your title. Like for example, I'll show you guys a short that I just recently uploaded. Actually, I'll show you guys. Okay. Pause. Okay, so if you go to my channel, you go to shorts, you look at these shorts. Also ignore the amount of views this one has. I just uploaded it like an hour ago. But if you go to these, I like to think I got some pretty good thumbnails. This one especially, and this is my second best short, but whenever I'm editing, I try to think which of these frames in the video is going to be my my thumbnail, because I think like for this one, for example, this one got nearly 10,000 views. The title is I've never seen ping this high, and then it's like wheezes, the laughing emoji, like all of that combined, and you can see that there. I feel like that's kind of intriguing, and it's going to make somebody that comes here maybe you want to click on it. Here's just some of my thumbnails. Just a little example. I mean, if y'all want to see it, actually, you can just go to my channel and check it out. And that is it on how do you upload them. Now, lastly, I know I've been yapping, guys. Last part, this is very, very, very important. How do you analyze your shorts? So once you've uploaded them, there's a lot of analytics you can look at that will provide you with some valuable information. But if you want to learn how to make better shorts that are going to perform better, the two statistics that you're going to want to be focusing on is the how many people chose to view, which could also be called the viewed versus swiped away statistic. And the second one, I've already said it before, the average view duration, or the average percentage viewed, same thing. Those two are the ones that you're going to want to be focusing on. With the viewed versus swiped away, that is almost entirely going to be, or it's going to rely on how good of a hook you have and how quickly you get into the meat of the video. And by that, I mean just how quickly you get past the intro, past the hook, to the part that people are going to want to watch or are going to be engaged with. And then, what was I about to say? I was literally about to say something really important, and then it just slipped my mind. Oh, okay. With the average percentage viewed, what you're going to want to look at, or what you're going to want to look for is, I mean, if you have a completely flat graph, that is the goal. That means you've kept people engaged the entire time. You want to pay attention to the drop off, because on every retention graph, if you've never looked at one, you're going to have a big drop off at the very beginning. That's just unavoidable pretty much. But you want to look at the point when, let me just show you guys. I keep trying to show it like this. I literally have graphs that I can show you guys. Okay. So we're going to look at my best short once again. If you look at this graph, I think there's a better way to look at it. Yeah. Okay. Look at it right here. So as you can see, it's 50 seconds long. There's that drop I was talking about. So what you want to look for is, when did it stop dropping? So what was said here that made people stop swiping away? And if you watch it, if I go to the beginning, does this ever happen to you guys when you're playing Valorant? I like to call it the accidental ace paradox. Let me explain. Basically, the other day, it stopped dropping the second I got into the bulk of the short, which is like the whole reason people are watching it. But I mean, this part is necessary, this intro part where people are swiping away. It is necessary for people to not swipe away in the second half of the video, if that makes sense. But in here, there's not really much that I can learn apart from like everything I did was pretty good. But if I go to, let's see, I know there's a short somewhere here where people swiped away. Okay, here's something I learned from this short. So this short did pretty well. It got 17,000 views. I was hoping it would do a little bit better. But what I can learn from this is you can see little drops here and there. And that's because typically my shorts are just one clip. But with this one, I did multiple clips. And after each clip, there's a little drop every single time. And from that, I learned that I probably don't want to do shorts in the future that have multiple clips in them, because it's kind of inevitable that the average view duration is just going to go down. And, I'm fighting an uphill battle whenever I upload a short that has multiple clips like this. So this was an experiment. Like I said, it's important to conduct these experiments because you will learn things. You will learn what to do in the future and what not to do in the future, which is just as important. So from this, I gained 5 subscribers out of it. And apparently it's still getting views from my channel page. And that is because of the thumbnail, guys. What, you can't even see it. My face cam is covering it. Look at that thumbnail. Doesn't that thumbnail just make you want to click? Probably not. But it's like an action shot. That's what I want to call it. Wait, well, let me find it actually. Yeah, you can see it right there. I mean, it stands out like a sore thumb, I think. This one right here is the one I just showed you guys. I think that's the importance or the power of a good thumbnail for a short, because even though it's not getting views in the shorts feed anymore, it's still getting views, even if it's 6 views in 48 hours. It's still getting views here and there solely because it's got a good thumbnail. I think that's everything I can teach you for now about how to grow your shorts audience. Just keep making content. You're going to have shorts that aren't going to do well. Sometimes it's going to puzzle you, but you just need to keep making the shorts, because if you keep making them, you'll learn things and you'll be able to make better shorts. Eventually you'll have that one short that pops off, and that's going to elevate all your other shorts from there on out. And it's going to elevate some of your older shorts. So please, guys, if you learned anything from this video, just keep at it, okay? Actually, if you watch to the end, I got one more thing I want to show you. Okay, so I uploaded my first short on September 26, 2022. So it's been about a year and 7 months since then. And that first short got 388 views. And I uploaded, it looks like I uploaded 4 more shorts after that. And the 4th short after that got 630 views. And then I stopped making shorts for, let me do the math. I stopped making shorts for 5 months. Then I came back and I just decided to, no matter what, post 2 shorts a week, one on Monday, one on Friday. And I had some shorts that didn't do super well. Sorry, I'm like not looking at you guys when I'm talking. It's because I'm looking at the numbers. So basically, I uploaded 5 shorts. They didn't really do anything. And I stopped uploading shorts for 5 months. And then I came back and I told myself, no matter what, I'm going to post 2 shorts a week. Whether they perform well or not, I'm just going to post them. I'm just going to get them out. And some of them, occasionally I'd get one that got 10,000 views and I was really hyped. And then I got another that got 10,000 views. And then they kind of snowballed. And then eventually I got one that now has 1.1 million views. And since then I've gotten multiple others over 100,000 views. And that would have never happened if I didn't just push through the occasional short that got 200 views. So yeah, please just keep at it, guys. Get your reps in. And I wish you guys the best of luck on your shorts journey on YouTube. For real. It is a journey, to say the least. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If y'all enjoyed, please, like I said, drop a like, comment stuff you want me to talk about in future episodes. And if I don't know that much about it, then I'll get a guest on that does. But I think that's it for me, guys. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see y'all in the next episode of CreatorCast. And if you want to watch another episode, YouTube thinks you might like this one, so check it out.